Never been introduced with mood music before. That's very nice. So let me just say, first of all, that what a spectacular venue. This is already a wonderful night, and it's only just started. You here in Adelaide really know how to do this well, and this is just great. So I was going to attempt to go through the list of everyone, but there's so many important people here. I'm just going to say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and to our most distinguished guests, our finalists, who are here to honor tonight. So tonight, we are here to highlight some of the great things that have been going on in South Australia, in both science and education. As we all watch on to this year's federal election, I personally find it rather sobering that when the future of the nation is discussed, and it has been discussed ad nauseum, the horizon is 2017, 3.5 years from now. Tonight, we really are focusing on the future of Australia, and I think we should remind ourselves of that the future of Australia is not 3.5 years. It's 3.5 years, but it's also 30 years. And that is the way we're looking today into the future. We are here to celebrate the women and men who are doing the work in science and education that will power our nation's economy and our people's well-being for decades to come. The big things of tomorrow, a lot of them start out in the labs and the classrooms of today. And who knows where tonight's award recipients' work will end up leading to in the future. In science, one is never sure. And that's part of the fun and part of the mystery that makes research so fun. For me, I grew up in a typical middle-class family in what many people would describe as the middle of nowhere, which was the mountains of Montana and Alaska in the United States. I was a good student, but I was not the best my teachers ever saw, although they do remember me as being particularly enthusiastic and adventurous. They knew I was always willing to fail, to try something out and keep going. Now, I always thought I would embark on a career in science, and that was because I had a role model. My role model was my father, who was a biologist. As he worked on his PhD, I sucked up the love that he had for exploring his world, and in his case, the universe around him was rainbow trout and figuring out how they live. But his infectious love of science was passed on to me. Now, my beginnings are not dissimilar from many of my fellow Nobel Prize winners I've had a chance to meet. And it's probably not that dissimilar to many of the scientists that we're here to honor tonight. Most things start out with a fairly normal background, but often a role model. And the people around us today that we are honoring are the role models for the future scientists of this country. One of the things I've had the opportunity to do over the last couple years is to see all sorts of amazing people. And what happens to me when I meet these amazing people is I realize that they're just like me and just like you. There aren't amazing people. Everyone is amazing. It's just that people are put into amazing circumstances. I am continually impressed on how humanity works. We do amazing things, but these amazing things are pieced together from generations of work done by an uncountable number of people. And suddenly, everything comes together, usually with a hardworking person or team at the center of it. The notion of prodigies is something that really is in the past. Yes, there are prodigies, but they are not where all the action is these days. There's a few notable exceptions, but most of the stuff that makes the world go around now is by normal people who happen to be able to do great things. They are passionate about their work, and in that passion, they stumble into a situation where a transformative breakthrough is made. And these moments are worth celebrating. And we are celebrating some of these moments tonight with our finalists. Discoveries come in all shapes and sizes, and we will probably not understand the whole impact of the work of tonight's scientists for years to come. And yet we already know that the work is interesting. For me, my work started with choosing to become an astronomer because I simply did not know what I wanted to do with my life. I never thought I would be good enough to actually get a job in astronomy, and I certainly didn't think I would go on to discover 70% of the universe. But in the same way, the eventual outcomes of science are hard to predict, so are life's possibilities. And just like society continually undervalues science, I believe most of us undervalue ourselves and our own possibilities. It is certainly true most of us will not win a Nobel Prize, but most of us here today are perfectly capable of doing so, and I am living testament to that. I never thought I would win a Nobel Prize. I never dreamt of winning a Nobel Prize, and yet by just working hard, I was able to be part of something great. And it's great we can celebrate that, but you should not think you are different than me. You are not. And this is not just true for scientists, it's true for people in most walks of life. Big things are done by normal people. You just have to have the confidence to go out and try your best, fail, get up, and keep moving. So my Nobel Prize work started with an idea: to use the emerging technology and emerging ideas that would allow me to go through and measure the ultimate fate of the universe. The question was it slowing down quickly and was going to eventually go in reverse and end in what I like to call the Gnab-Gib? That's the Big Bang backwards if you're not paying attention. Or would it keep up enough speed so as to continually keep gravity at bay and expand forever? I like this question. I could explain it to my grandma. I always say that if you can't explain the science that you are doing to your grandmother, then you should figure it out better or do a new problem that you really like. Because if you love a problem, no matter how hard it is, you can explain it to your grandmother. I really wanted to know the answer to this problem. And what was so amazing to me is technology had put me in a position where I thought I really could get an answer. Now, a lot of people thought I was crazy, and I probably was. But I didn't care because it was interesting to me. And I worked hard to find out. Probably too hard. But when you love something, you do work hard. And you can imagine my feelings when, after 3.5 years of very hard work, I got the wrong answer. The universe wasn't slowing down at all. It was speeding up. Now, when I saw that answer, my first reaction was certainly not to celebrate. It was actually to feel sick and try to figure out how my career was going to be in tatters and what else I was going to do with my life, because I was pretty sure I had done something horribly wrong, and I was desperate. So the team and I, and there was 20 of us in total, spent 3 months of trying to figure out, testing every little thing that we had done and trying to figure out what could possibly go wrong. And it was in February 1998, with a great deal of trepidation, that we announced our results. And I expected to be ridiculed and scorned because science is actually quite conservative. It really doesn't like the current orthodoxy to be turned over. It's very resistant to that, as it should be. But it is able to accept new ideas, as my research showed, because there was a bit of that ridicule and scorn. But overall, much to my surprise, our results struck a chord. It struck a chord because it actually helped fix several of the outstanding problems in cosmology. Now, just because it's nice doesn't mean it's right. And that's one of the things that people outside of science forget. So the reason it really became interesting is because other people went and worked on it, and everyone who worked on it kept on getting the same answer as we do. This crazy answer that the universe was speeding up, indicating that something was pushing the universe apart. We think it's gravity. It's just, we always think that gravity pulls, and it turns out that Einstein was smart enough in 1917 to realize that not everything in his theory of gravity pulled. Some things could push. And it turns out 70% of the universe is made out of this stuff. A big surprise to all of us. So tonight you are going to get to hear some of the most exciting things done here in South Australia over the past few years. Tonight you could be learning of something that transforms the world, like Bragg's work with X-rays just down the road 105 years ago. You may be seeing a future Nobel Prize winner. Who's to know? You don't, and I don't. The person who did the work doesn't either. And it doesn't really make any difference, because it's still great work. What I guarantee you is tonight you are seeing people who are changing the way we look at the world on a global scale, the way we educate our future generations. And they will influence, one way or another, many great discoveries in the future. I'm prepared to make this guarantee because science is that connected. And it's not just the butterfly effect. It is just that science, to some level, is like a giant IKEA flat pack without any instructions. It's built of many pieces, some big, some small, and as you try to put it together, after a lot of experimenting, some few pieces come together and voila, you've suddenly got something useful. And so tonight we celebrate the people with the Allen keys of Australia's future. The people behind some of South Australia's greatest accomplishments, this state's great scientists and educators. Congratulations to all the finalists. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I look forward to the rest of the night and the fact that you've got me on early so I can have some wonderful South Australian wine, even if it is in competition with my own Pinot Noir. Thank you.